How you doing? It's Bill Stage, and I am with Adam Rattler from American Family Insurance, Adam Rattler Agency, and he is getting technical over here with the green screen. How are you, Adam?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. We were just kind of chatting ahead of the hitting record button here. You guys pretty busy down there with some storms this morning and late last night?
Yeah, some significant hail damage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys are still working, obviously. How are you keeping yourself and your customers safe?
So we have our lobby locked, and we're not letting the customers in and out, but we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings like
Mhm.
this. Some customers are using Skype. Obviously, the telephone's always been a big one.
Yeah.
And so on the claim side that they're dealing with now, like a property claim before, they wanted the adjuster to be there with the customer and so they could explain things. It's actually the opposite thought process now. They're like,
Mm.
hey, we're going to come and we're going to look at the outside of your house for hail damage. We would prefer that nobody's there or if you're stay inside the house if you're there.
Right.
So that's kind of been the paradigm shift. On
Mhm.
the auto side, you still have to do that face-to-face meeting at some point in time. I know they are using where you can, if it's a minor accident, you can upload some photos
Mhm.
and send it to the adjuster, and they're adjusting some of those claims based off of photos.
Gotcha. So yeah, technology is helped your business and mine quite a bit. And so what are your feelings on that? Is this something new for you? Or have you been dealing with technology and this type of thing for a long time?
So I've been a pusher of that for a long time. Actually been on some technology committees for American Family at times. Um, these big companies like this move slowly on that type of
Hmm.
stuff, and we're independent subcontractors, and so there's things that they can't tell the agents. Look, you need to start doing that. They can suggest,
Hmm.
but I've been a proponent for years that we should all have a camera at our desk and not drive to Des Moines for a meeting. It just doesn't make sense. Let's have
Right.
the meeting and be in my office. But they've not been good about that, and obviously now that's shifted the other direction. All of our meetings
Yeah.
are online now. We're not having any in person. So
Yeah.
some of this is good for these companies. It's forcing them to make a change.
Hmm. Yeah, and that is kind of the you force somebody's hand to have to figure it out,
Correct.
and invention. What is it? The mother of invention is necessity.
Correct. That's
So
exactly right. I mean, these companies. I have some aging manager type positions in this company that just weren't good with technology. Didn't even have cell phones. Some of them they had flip phones,
yeah.
and they've been kind of forced hand now to go, hey, we've got to change what we're doing here.
Yeah, and old school is not all bad,
No,
and I'm sure there's plenty of old school mentality out there that
right.
serves you well. Is there anything that you would like to take from 20 years ago that you're pushing today?
The big thing for me has always been is I have a product I sell, obviously, but if you want it cheaper, you can always go somewhere else and get it cheaper.
Hmm.
So I'm here for relationships, and that's
Right.
old school. I'm here to talk to a customer and tell them things that I think they should have,
Hmm.
and help them through processes like this with this hail. Do we turn in a claim on the car? Do we that kind of stuff?
Right.
If they want to go to an 800 number, they can get it cheaper, but now it's upon them to do what they need to do.
Right. Adam, when did you first start your agency?
August 1 of 2001. So I've been in the business here coming up on 19 years this year.
Okay, and what did you do before that?
A lot of different things, but I was actually a tool and die maker in a family owned machine shop that ultimately
Really?
failed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What did you do there?
Lots of hats. It was a family owned business. I did the sales for them. So I went out to places like Deere and things like that.
Hmm.
And, did quoting projects, welding, machining, painting things, delivering, just all kinds of things. You
Hmm.
ended up doing the biggest we ever were. I think we had like 15 employees at one point total. So you just going through a business like that, you wear a lot of different hats. Similar to being an agent right now, I have two staff people in my office, and I still clean the toilets on Fridays. It's
Right.
just the way it works.
Yeah. Uh, do you consider yourself a salesperson then? Back then, obviously, but is that a big part of your job right now?
So it's your first job as an agent.
Hmm.
Your first job is to sell insurance. That's what we're here for. We're the
Hmm.
front line of the company, but we also have to service. So
Yeah,
somebody buys a different car or a house or has a claim problem. I don't handle claims, but if something's not going correctly, billing issues, all that kind of stuff, we have to take care of also. So again, we wear lots of hats around here.
sure. So when I've been doing these behind the business interviews, a lot of times what people do now for their business, they actually started for fun when they were a kid. Is there any sort of parallels that you can line up with what you do now at American Family Insurance? That maybe it was connecting people as a kid, or a lemonade stand, or anything like that. Is there any sort of connections there?
I think so, because I think to be a good agent, you have to like people. And I've
Mhm.
always been somebody that liked people. There's people that just don't like people. I've had staff that way that you find out real quickly, they just don't really care for people.
Right.
And, I've always liked people and different people. I've always been good at connecting with, a person that's wealthy and comes from old wealth, or a guy that lays brick.
Hmm.
I'm good at that. And so I think that's made a good transition for me in this business. I can talk to almost anybody.
Right. What's your favorite thing to do at the agency?
Um, I like selling commercial insurance now. Sorry, I don't know
What is
if you're
that, a
hearing my
pig?
ringtone, but that is
A cow? What is
Chewbacca
that?
there. I got to get
Oh,
that off.
okay.
Um, my favorite thing to do at the agency would be to work with a large commercial client trying to sell some commercial policies.
Mhm.
Not that auto and home is not my bread and butter, but just like anything, you get some monotony out of something you've done
Sure.
10,000 times in your lifetime.
Yeah, yeah,
So to work with something with a little more challenge to it, a large life case, a large commercial case is a little more challenging and fun.
yeah. When you first started the agency, gosh, my math is correct, 19 years ago.
Yep, almost
Uh,
19.
what? How did you market your business, and has that changed through the years?
So that's changed dramatically. When I first started, believe it or not, you grabbed a telephone book.
Mm,
And the typical was to start with Z because everybody else had started at A.
right.
And you had a little quick 2 paragraph sales pitch on the phone that you tried to get them to give you some information to start quoting them.
Uh huh.
And it was, they called it dialing the miles. You just start calling and people, and it worked. I mean, it was definitely worked because people answered their phones back then, and that's just different now. People don't answer phones now, and so it's much more difficult. We're using more internet leads.
Hmm.
We try to push referrals. We always have, because
Hmm.
those are the best clients. If you can get somebody that says, "Hey, he's really taking care of me, and he can take care of you," that you're in the door. That at that point.
Right.
So that's the ways now, internet leads, and as I've gotten to be a bigger agent, more business just comes to me naturally than it did previously.
Yeah. Do you have any morning routines or anything you have to do that get you into that work mindset?
So this is pre-work.
Yes.
I go to CrossFit, but we're not doing that right now.
Okay.
I tend to be more productive when I've gotten to CrossFit and gotten home and gotten through my process to get to work. I'm not a coffee drinker or none of that kind of stuff, though. No,
Okay.
no. But once I get to the office, the first thing is emails. That's voicemails, emails, trying to get back to people that wanted to contact you over the night,
Yeah.
and then it's just get into it. And every day is different from what
Hmm.
I'm doing. I could have a meeting. I could be working with a large commercial client. I could have a review with a 30-year client. You just don't know what it's going to be that day.
Right. What about after work? What do you do to wind down?
So I do play some sports with friends, tennis. I do fishing, things like that. I have a pretty good family that I do some stuff with. Me and my son were actually just working on his. He's got a Kawasaki dirt bike. We were putting a new pipe on and jetting
Hmm.
it and things like that. So I work on cars on the side.
Oh, cool.
Kind of a lot of things. I'm a little eclectic on what I do.
Yeah. Well, that's all right, man. You have to. I always get bored, so moving on to
Yeah,
the different project is a
I,
good thing.
That's one of my issues in life. I can't eat the same meal 2 days in a row, and I just get bored easy in life. I'm same way with music. I go through stretches where I'm listening to old country and then heavy metal and then hard rock and classic
Yep.
rock and soft rock. And
Oh yeah.
I'm just kind of, I don't know if you're that way where I get into one thing and I'm kind of into that for a week and then it's,
Yep.
I'm tired of that. Now I'm going to go over here for a while.
Yeah, for sure. What are you into right now? Where's your
I've been listening
genre?
to a lot of 70s soft rock.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff, Atlanta rhythm section, things like that. I've been kind of going back through that I hadn't listened to in a long time.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's probably a little bit more comfort food for the ears, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It drives my kids nuts. Let me tell you that.
Well, that's a bonus.
Yeah. That's the bonus side of it.
What's your definition of success, Adam?
Uh, Success for me will be having a long career with American Family, which I've already had a long career, but putting in another 15 years with them and retiring happy and having a great bunch of clients that are going to be sad to see me go.
That's great, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Very cool. So, another couple questions here before we wrap up. Do you have a favorite piece of advice that you have heard, or one you like to give, or life hack that you would like to get out there to people?
I didn't put enough time into that one. Life hack for insurance would be, I guess I'll just give you an insurance life
That's
hack,
perfect.
is to know more about what you're buying. People buy insurance and they just think whatever now happens is covered.
Hmm.
So if I buy homeowners insurance, if a flood occurs, that's covered. Well, it's
Hmm.
just not. So understanding what you're buying, and that happens with anything you buy, whether it be an insurance policy or a car or whatever you purchase. How does this work? What I'm buying, and what features am I getting? So many people are in a hurry when they're making that buying decision and making that purchase that they don't take the time to know a little bit about what they're buying, and then in the end, that comes back usually to buying them.
Gotcha. And final question. I do this behind the business thing to kind of get into the why people started and where their passions lie in their business. Do you have a favorite business that you would like to see on this program that might have an interesting story?
I think Sancho's Mexican food. I went to school with Jimmy Crans and Billy Crans. Billy owns it. That place has been there for years. It's been flooded. I think it was called Pepe Taco at one time. Those guys just been around a long time, and it's a sleepy little place in the back there that nobody knows is even there. And they got great food and great service, and they're just great people in there.
Love me some Sanchos. That's a great one. Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And before we go, we got to play with this background. Show me what you showed me before, will you?
Okay, let's do it here. Let me get back. Let me see if I can do it. There we
I
go.
love this.
I had a. Let me give you this one first. I got a
Okay.
COVID background we can do there. That's great for everybody, right? And then
Topical. Oh,
this one.
yeah, with the lasers and everything. Oh, it's fantastic.
Great.
Your teeth look great, by the way.
I think me and you can hang out. I think we would enjoy each other's company.
I agree. Adam, thank you so much for spending some time with me,
Take
man.
it easy. It was nice talking to you.